look what finally arrived. I've been waiting for this for weeks. Since the day it was released. Actually, it was a couple days before the release because I had a special link. And yeah, it was delayed for a very long time, but they arrived. I mean, this for me is everything. This is so much my style. I have none of my rings. I will be right back. There we go, so much better. I actually did my nails last night, so I had to take all my rings off. And I went short and fallish because I broke a nail. So anyway, I also have my coffee here. I'm all over the place. I'm just excited because I can finally play with these. Yeah, let's go back to these. I love the owl. I do like this. This is the leopard. I like it, but the owl, in my opinion, is just so elegant, so beautiful. And so I picked these up. The owl, inside the owl, it is the jellyfish, I think. Yeah, I think that's the one that I have in here. And then in the tiger one, I got the snake one. It's very confusing. Oh, let's do this upside down. So pretty. I did play with the lighting a little bit, so I can hopefully show you more realistic how things look on the skin. I felt like lately it was kind of washing out the colors, so hopefully this is better. I'm always trying to get better and improve, and looking at different cameras, lenses, and ways that I can improve the quality. I think makeup is so hard because you kind of want to be very realistic about how it looks, but it's so hard to do. It's not like an outdoor video. These are the two palettes. They look so beautiful. Even together, it's beautiful. Here they are side by side. Absolutely stunning. I personally don't own a lot of Hourglass palettes. The only two that I own are these two right here. I have like some individual shadows, blushes, and bronzers and powders and things like that. But from their like 6-pin limited edition, these are the only two that I have right here. The Ghost Unlocked, which is this one right here, which is very well used. And then I have the Sculpture, Lighting Edit Sculpture, which is not as used, but it's a good one. I couldn't tell you when I bought these two. I have no idea. It could have been 5 years ago or 10 years ago. I have no idea. But this is the Unlocked that I've used a lot more. And then this one, it's not that I didn't like it. It's just that I started doing a lot more reviews, and this has just kind of gone to the back of my makeup collection. But the packaging has changed since then. This is a tin foil, not foil, but a tin packaging. And what is this? This right here stays up. I can sit and do my makeup like this. Oh my gosh, this foundation is so beautiful. I'm gonna tell you real quick. I told you I'm all over the place today. I mixed these two. If you look for the most beautiful foundation that's not quite as heavy as the Hourglass, it gives a little bit of a glow. This combo is everything. This is what I'm gonna use all fall long. I am so excited. It definitely has a glow because of the Hourglass tint, but combining them, so good. That was one thing that I noticed. I was like, what? That's so annoying. Am I the only one? But I will say that even though it doesn't feel as luxurious to me as this one, it is heavier and it feels maybe a little sturdier. I just find this to not make it as luxe as it could be. So that's my only complaint about the packaging. It is absolutely beautiful. Like what they've done this year is my favorite. I didn't love the last year. I don't know. I don't like a ton of color in my packaging. I like simplicity and elegancy, and I think they did a really good job this year. Didn't love the snake one. I didn't like the jellyfish packaging. I know a lot of people did, so I feel like most people will like that. I'm just more this is more my vibe. First of all, these bad boys are very expensive, $90. I remember when I first bought my Hourglass palette, it must have been in the 60 something range, closer to 70, but that's just a lot for one palette. However, you do get in all of them that you get a bronzer, some blushes, some highlighter, and some finishing powder. So you kind of have everything you need in one palette. And that for $90 doesn't sound that bad. But yeah, I was a little shocked at the price increase. I did contact Hourglass to see if I could get you guys a coupon. They gave me a 10% off if you just use the code Tania at the checkout, and that should help a little bit. Okay, let's start with the lightest one, which is the Jellyfish. I'm sorry, this is confusing. I just had to get this packaging. So pretty. Starting off with this one right here, this is a finishing powder, diffused light. I already own this one. I think many of us own this one. And it is just a nice finishing powder, light rose fusion right here. Absolutely beautiful. Third one right here is metallic strobe powder, opal strobe light. I think this is also new. Let's swatch it right here. Ooh, that is so intense. It's almost like pinky. Oh yeah, it has a pink shift to it. Next we have the bronzer, Lunar Bronze. This looks like a good bronzer. Now I've seen some reviews a little bit. I try not to watch too much. But I've seen that the bronzer looks less orangey than the other ones, which is great because I didn't love the bronzer in the other palettes that I have. Moving on to blush, diffused heat. Wait, this is already in their permanent line. We already have this one. I'm gonna swatch it right here. Oh, but that is a beautiful, beautiful blush. And then the last one is a finishing powder, Ethereal Light. Let's swatch it right here. Let's try again. There we go. So you can definitely see that this is a little bit brighter and just shows up, but I love these tones. So, so beautiful. So here are the swatches for the Jellyfish palette. You have 3 new shades and 3 original shades. Moving on to the Snake palette with the leopard packaging. We are starting with a finishing powder, Radiant Light, and this is the only one that is not new. I'm gonna swatch it on the other hand so we can do comparison. So let's see. This definitely is too deep for me. It could almost look like a blush. I was hesitant to buy this palette because I'm like, am I gonna ever be able to use it? I just really wanted to swatch it for you guys. Next we have Coral Haze, and it's a new blush. Swatching it right here. Ooh, that's a beautiful blush. I could absolutely use that. Then we have a metallic strobe powder, Infinite Strobe Light. And this is definitely very warm. Let's swatch it right here. Ooh. Yeah, it's definitely warm. It would just show up too dark on me, but for deeper skin tone, these look so good. Here we have blush in Sunbeam. It looks like a beautiful orangey blush. Swatching it right here. Yes. Ooh, this on deeper skin is gonna be beautiful. It does have quite a lot of sheen in it though, so you must like that. Moving on to the next blush, which is called Mystic Flush, which is nice and bright. I'm just gonna have to be extra careful when applying these. And last one is a bronzer, Solar Bronze, that looks absolutely beautiful. Ooh, I'm excited. Probably too deep for me, but I do like the undertone. Yes, let's do a better swatch right here. Ooh, I like that. So here we have the Snake palette, and all of these are new except the finishing powder, which is at the top. Here we have the swatches side by side. There is a huge difference. But that is exactly what we've been asking Hourglass to give us, just more color, more depth, so a lot more people can use these palettes. Let's start with a lighter palette, and I'm going to go in with the bronzer. I'm very excited about this. Now, this is a big old bronzer brush, but if I kind of place it like this, I have no issues picking the product up. I'm going to tap a little bit, and we're going to go on this side. I am extra glowy because it's extra hot in here. And let's add a little bit. Ooh, okay. My hair is already starting to curl up here because it's so hot. Ooh, that's beautiful bronzer, finally. A bronzer that I actually like from these palettes. I actually took the Unlocked palette with me on a one-day trip, and I was using this bronzer, and I just, it felt very, very muddy. I'm gonna swatch it side by side. Here is the new bronzer, and here is the bronzer from Unlocked. And the bronzer from Unlocked also has a lot more glow to it. The new one is more neutral, cooler tone. I love it so much better. Look how beautiful that is. I barely blended this in. Put it around the eyes as well because I didn't put anything on the eyes. Oh, yes. This is gonna be perfect if I just don't have that hair there. I was trying to think how to do this because I want to show you all the colors, but I also want to show you palette side by side. So I'm going to take this color right here. I think Diffused Heat, like we know, it's already in many other palettes and individual. So I'm taking the new shade, which is right here. This is called Rose Fusion. And I'm just going to add a little bit here. Okay, that's actually quite pigmented. And I'm using a Sonia G brush. This is the Soft Cheek. That is a beautiful color. It has pigment to it, but it's not too much. I actually went quite heavy. This color is so beautiful. What I think I'm gonna do is take this one because it's a little lighter, and I'm gonna put it in the center right here. I have the worst habit to like tap my brush on the mirror, so none of my mirrors are usable now, but it just takes off the product a little bit. Ooh, that's definitely much pinker. I don't think I own this individually, the Diffused Heat. So for me, this palette's perfect because the only color that I have is this one right here, and I've actually hit pan on that powder. So I don't own the Diffused Heat, and wow, it is so pretty. Definitely bright and pink. Oh, and that shift. I am loving this so far. Very blushy right now. Let's take the highlighter, and I will try to be extra careful because I know it's quite intense. So I'm gonna slowly add it. Very, very intense. But if you're careful, you can definitely use it. It's actually very flattering. A beautiful highlighter. I'm gonna take Diffused Light, which is this one right here, and I'm gonna blend in. Ooh, that's actually very brightening. I forgot how bright this is. I'm gonna blend my concealer with the blush and all this right here. I forgot how brightening this is. And it definitely has a shift to it. It's beautiful, but you know, you gotta be a little careful. I'm gonna put a little bit under my eyes here. I have already powdered my under eyes with, the Hourglass powder. I try to use most of my Hourglass products just because. So I used that to set my under eyes. And this is just kind of putting a filter, a little bit of brightness under the eyes. Next, I want to use this one. It's so bright though, I'm a little afraid. I take a little bit, take some off, and blend the highlighter in with a blush. This could actually be a beautiful highlighter. So could absolutely do that. I'm going to put a little bit of my brow bone in here to bring a little bit of brightness here. It's kind of nice. I'm going to set this area right here because it's quite glowy right now, and we'll see how that looks. Still glowy. These powders have the tiniest bit of reflectiveness, so they're not flat. It looks beautiful in person though. I'm gonna take the lightest powder right here and take it on my eyelid because I don't have any actual eyeshadow. I think this will brighten it up a little bit. Yeah, I like that. And then just a little bit of the highlighter for my inner corner. I like this highlighter. It's quite pinky, which I don't mind actually. I prefer pinkier highlighter rather than gold, which we have in our next palette. But this is the finished look. I actually think this looks really beautiful. Obviously, we worked with 2 different blushes, so we have quite a lot going on. I usually wouldn't wear this much. I also want to say that because the highlighters have a sheen to them, I almost feel like it's not a necessity to put a highlighter on for me personally, but the highlighter is like beaming. Can you tell? It's quite intense. And also the powders are brightening and a little bit luminous, so you just kind of have to be careful with that. If you have I would say light medium skin tone and deeper, these powders will show up quite bright. I mean, you can kind of see how much brighter right here my under eye is, which I'm not mad about it, but my whole skin looks very glowy. These powders are finishing powders, so you don't want to set with these. These are just kind of all over. I am craving a little bit of a matte powder right here to take that glow away, but I love it on the forehead, just everywhere. I think it looks really, really beautiful. All right, moving on to the next one. I'm gonna clean my brushes real quick because I love this bronzer brush. This is the Sonia G bronzer brush. This is my favorite one, and I will link it down below if I find it. Most of the time they're sold out, so we'll see. And I also use the Sephora Daily Brush Cleanser because this is clean and completely dry, so it's fabulous. Okay, a little scared, but let's go in with the bronzer. I will try to be careful. I just did 2 dabs and it picks up quite a bit, so I'm going to take some off and I'm going to go here. My swatches are still on. Oops, I think I added just a little bit too much like that right there, but it blends in really, really well. Okay, so the bronzer, surprisingly, it's not as warm. Actually, really like it. I'm looking in the mirror right here, and I think it's very, very pretty. Slightly contourish almost. Oh, that's very, very pretty. I like it. Does this have more glow to it? So I swatched them side by side. This is from the Snake palette, the deepest one, and then this is from the Jellyfish, and it definitely has a little bit more of a glow than the lightest one. On me, the lightest one is better, and this one has a little bit more warmth to it without being orange, which is really nice for a deeper complexion. On me, it almost looks like a blush bronzer, which I don't mind. I could just put that all over and I'd be fine. Okay, now we have so many blushes here. I think what I'm gonna do is put one and try to wipe it off and test all three for you guys. Let's start with the middle one right here. And I'm absolutely taking some of this off and then gently apply. I'm using the same Sonia G. I just cleaned it. Ooh. Okay, that's really pretty. You just have to be gentle. And it's actually not too much at all. I actually love that. Oh, it's so fresh. It's beautiful. I'm gonna build it up just a little bit more, just so we can see. And I'm kind of bringing it here on the apples of my cheeks. Ooh, I love that. Again, I'm using the middle one right here. I think that's so beautiful. Again, I went very heavy-handed with the blushes in the first palette and very soft with this one, but this is beautiful. I like that it has that glow to it. Next, I will take a little bit of this highlighter. I know it's gonna be way too deep, but I'm gonna try to use it either way. So this definitely is a little deep because if I look straight at you, there's almost like a shadow right here. But it's really pretty. I think when I have a little bit more of a tan, it would be actually beautiful. I bet on the eyelids, it would look stunning. Let's put a little bit of bronzer on the eyes as well. Woo, that's a lot. I was so careful to put it on my skin that I just kind of went crazy on the eyelid. Okay, I want to take the highlighter and put it all over my lid to see how it looks. See, that's really, really beautiful. I'm just taking the finishing powder to blend this out. Why not? Let's take the bronzer a little under here as well. There you go. You have an eye look with this. Definitely a little bit on the warmer side, reddish tone for me, but it works. Okay, so I'm gonna take this blush off. We can see the highlighter. One thing we can do, I'm gonna take a little bit of the finishing powder and just try to, ooh, I'm a little scared. Just start here. Let's see. Okay, that's not that tragic. Okay. I don't own this powder. Okay, that's actually not that bad. It definitely is not brightening, but it's usable. I'm gonna put it here. I thought it would cast much more of a shadow, and I'm trying to build it up to see. Yeah, it's not too bad actually. I'm surprised. I'm surprised about this. I'm just gonna blend this here. Okay. I think I could use this powder. I actually kind of like this one a little bit more because it's not as brightening as this one right here. Like you can see how intense that one is. I'm actually gonna powder that down, but okay. So this is one of the blushes right here. I'm gonna try to wipe it off without wiping my whole foundation off. Let's try the next blush, which is this one right here. This is gonna be almost like a highlighting blush. It's very glowy and I don't think it's gonna be my favorite, but let's see. I could see this almost like a blush topper because, and let me try a different brush. I'm taking a rougher brush. This is the Rougher 05. Taking some of this off. I'm building this up. I always look this way when I should be looking this way. Oh my gosh, I love that one too. What is happening? I'm building it up even more. I love that. It kind of reminds me of one of my favorite blushes, which is this one right here from Bare Minerals. It's called Kiss of Copper. I want to swatch them side by side. They're not exactly the same, but kind of similar. Okay, so this is Kiss of Copper, and this is the Hourglass one. This has more rosiness in it, and this is more orange, but you could combine a little bit of the rosiness from here and pretty much make that blush. I'm actually going to take a little bit of this one, which is brighter, and I think we're going to get a pretty good idea of how this one will look. I'm going to add right here. Okay, that's not that bad either. Just taking my foundation brush to clean it around. I think if you're careful, you could absolutely use this palette even if you have a lighter skin tone. Let's not say light. Fair, no. Light, no. If you're light medium, which is kind of where I am on a good day, I feel like that could be used. I mean, it's bright. I have two blushes, one on top of the other. But I actually kind of like it. Surprisingly, I am not mad about this. You can take the powder brush. Right now, I'm going to take this one and kind of calm everything down a little bit. There's an airplane going above me. Or a helicopter. It's a helicopter. I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but I really like this palette. I like the warmer tones. I'm just taking a little bit of the highlighter and barely touching it, and just taking my foundation brush with whatever was on it left over to blend over. I obviously have so many different layers of blush, but I actually really like that a lot. I'm gonna take a little bit of my Hourglass powder, and I kind of want to powder the center. I just feel extra glowy, which is understandable. We literally just, you know, put so much glow on our skin, but I just want to take a little bit of this shine and perfect it so we can get a better idea of how all of this looks like. So there we have it. I've put every single one of these colors on, and I have to say that I'm surprised how much I like the deeper one, the Snake palette. Again, I was very, very light-handed. I've seen a lot of reviews that they just put so much product that obviously it's gonna look like you're bruised or that somebody hit you or something. But if you're super gentle and you purchase this palette, you can absolutely use it. Like, I don't think it is too much. I actually really like it. I think in person, rather than on the view monitor, it looks very beautiful, not too much, very flattering. And again, I have two different blushes on, so I'm so impressed at how much I like the deep one. So much. I think the bronzer is just a little bit more reddish for me. It looks more cool tone in the pan, but once I swatch it, there's a little bit of that redness in it, and it's a little bit glowier than the owl. I'm not sorry, it's not the owl, the Jellyfish one. I like the bronzer in the Jellyfish. It's actually an amazing bronzer for my skin tone. I have an ick. So for me, definitely this bronzer, it just fits better. And the blushes, I don't know, I really like the blushes in the deeper ones. I like the warmth in them. I had to be extra careful using them, but if you like kind of the Bare Minerals bronzers, I never say that right, I think you would like the deeper one, because this gives me very similar vibe to these, right? And I adore this. It's kind of like a one all over blush, highlighter, bronzer in one. And I feel like I could get similar look from these. If I were to only pick one, I would absolutely just pick the lightest one, just because everything works for me. The highlighter is beautiful. The blushes are absolutely stunning. I actually really like this blush right here. It's so beautiful. It's that pink that is slightly cool tone, not too much. It's really, it has even a little bit of mauviness in it too. Super beautiful, definitely has a glow to it. I do like the finishing powders, but I wouldn't use them right here like I did. I just felt like that brought a lot more attention there. I would use it kind of all over my forehead. I'm going to take a little bit of this light one on this big old brush, and I would just do this. This is kind of how I would use these. Just kind of put a layer and a filter over your whole skin where it doesn't even look like you have powder. It still looks like you have a glow, but your foundation will stay all day. This highlighter is so intense, so just be careful, but it's really beautiful. It's beaming, so intense. So that's it. Those are my thoughts, my application, and all that good stuff. Again, here is the lighter palette. And then we have the deeper one. Even though these are so expensive, I do think they're worth it because you get a lot of product for $90. Amazing quality. Hourglass has one of the best powders in the industry. It gives you just that glow with a powder that's not emphasizing texture. Everything is just smoother. So it's one of those few powder products that I really enjoy using because I'm such a cream product person, but it gives a similar, I don't know, vibe to the cheek as a cream product. So that's it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.